everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so I don't know what way this video is going to go. I'm just winging it. I was actually in the house and I had nothing going on. And I just started thinking about, you know, protecting your collection. And when I say protecting your collection, I mean as in protectors. And I just said to myself, you know what, screw it. Come into this room, knock on my camera, and let's just start talking about it. Because it's something that is important to me. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way out there as well. So like I said, this is going to be almost like a stream video. I'm just going to talk and I'm just going to see how it goes. Fingers crossed it will be somewhat entertaining. We'll have to wait and see. But anyone that's close to my channel, you have to know that I love the rarer side of collecting physical media. I get so much joy from it. There's not a week that goes by where someone in my comment section will talk about how enthusiastic I do be on my videos, particularly when I'm showing, rarer editions. Not just on rare editions, just in anything in general. Even if I'm reviewing a good 4K transfer, you can't help but be enthusiastic because it's a gift, it really is, to see these movies looking as beautiful as they do. You can't help but be happy. But yeah, every time someone tells me that I am enthusiastic on my videos, I have to tell you, it's great to hear. It really is, because I am enthusiastic. I love all of this so much. I really do. And to hear that that's coming across in my videos is very important to me. And nothing is going to change. I am one of those people. I try to find the positives from everything. Whether it's watching movies, buying collector's editions, I will always try and find positives, even from the worst of situations. But if you're familiar with my channel, yes, I do like the more kind of deluxe side of collecting physical media. I am big into those boutique labels, the likes of Manta Lab, Film Arena, Sign Museum, all that kind of stuff. And for years now, I have been building a huge Film Arena collection. But every time I buy a Film Arena release, I make sure to get a protective case with it because, one, they're so beautiful. Two, they're incredibly rare and they're very expensive as well. So naturally, you do want to protect these releases. So in terms of my Film Arena collection and Manta Lab, all that stuff, I always had protectors for them. If I buy one release, I make sure to get a case with it as well. So I think it was around 4 months ago, my good friend John Perry over at Mondo Chelloveck Movies, I will leave a link in the description below to his channel. But John put out a video 4 months ago. And I watched it and I was like, wow, that is a very interesting video to put together. And it was him talking about protecting his collection in terms of, plastic cases. And when I was watching the video, you can't help but smile watching it because I see a lot of myself in John. Because he loves his collection as much as I love my collection, and he's doing anything he can to protect that collection. And in that video, he was basically talking about, the likes of Arrow Video, 88 Films, Vinegar Syndrome, and how he is trying to protect all of those editions that he owns for them labels. And it kind of got me thinking when I was watching that video. I was like, you know what? Why am I not protecting more of my collection? Why is it only the real kind of big boutique labels? I have a wonderful Warner Brothers collection in here. I have nearly 40 collector's editions on 4K from Warner Brothers. The same can be said for my Universal collection. All top-of-the-line editions, they really are. But they weren't in protective cases. So it's only when I seen John's video, it kind of got me thinking. As a matter of fact, I actually am going to leave a link in the description below for John's video. And I would encourage you to go over and check it out because it helped me a lot. It helped me in terms of finding the right cases for the right editions. So, yeah, after I seen that video from John, like I said, I contacted John and I asked for his help in terms of getting these protectors. Because there's a company called, I think they're called Steelbook Central. And they're an English company. The only problem is if I buy them directly from them, I will get hit by a huge customs charge. And, if I get them through John, I won't have to worry about that customs charge. And not only that, but the delivery charge is the exact same. Well, I say the exact same. It actually was cheaper on John's end, which I'll get into now in a second. I thought it was a very funny story. So yes, I asked John, could he help me out? And he done his best to help me in terms of what I needed. But he sent me to another gentleman going by the name of Steve Court. And I have to tell you this, Steve my God, he done such a wonderful job. He really, really helped me out. He done all the groundwork. Like, John was able to give us a chart. As a matter of fact, if I still have that picture, I will put it up here for you. John gave me a chart, and it basically shows all the sizes that you can get and the codes. And if you go onto Steelbook Central, you'll see all of those codes on that website, and you just align them to the sizes that you have in your collection. So that was always going to be a pain in the ass, because that means you kind of have to start measuring up all your box sets. But Steve done all the groundwork. He put his Warner Brothers collection into collector cases, and he done the same for his Universal. And then he kindly sent me a video, and he told me about every single code that I need, whatever cases that I need for certain particular sizes. Because it's not as simple as just getting one case for Warner Brothers, one case for Universal. No, it does not work that way. You know, when I finished putting them all together, Warner Brothers had 3 different sizes. Universal had around 4. So it was a real pain in the ass. So, yeah, like I said, Steve put this great video together, you know, showing me, like, for instance, the Universal's collection, where he's saying, like, the Jaws editions are slightly smaller than the, you know, the likes of Oppenheimer, and Twister is a bit smaller than that. So it was a very useful video, and it kind of got the ball rolling then for me. So I contacted John, and me thinking I was clever, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get so many of these, I'll get so many of this, that and the other, and I should be covered in terms of Warner Brothers and Universal. They were the 2 that I was fixated on. So John put it in order for me anyway from Steelbook Central. It came through the door a couple of days later, and me and John talk to each other a lot. We send a lot of kind of audio messages to each other through WhatsApp. And John basically sent me an audio message of, it was him carrying the box to the post office. And you can actually hear when John's walking. You can hear that I'm not saying he's out of breath, but you can tell that he's carrying a heavy box. So I was like, what? And he did talk about it. He talked about how heavy this box was. As a matter of fact, we had this kind of joke going about where, you know, I had this envision when John got back home, his right arm looked like, you know, Popeye's arm. You know, that's how much weight was behind this parcel. But anyway, he went into the post office and he handed the box in anyway, and the woman looked at him and she went, can you not split this in half, this box? And he was like, what do you mean? And he says, well, can you take half of the contents out and put into another box? And he was like, why? How bad is the delivery charge? And she said, it's £50 by Royal Mail. And John he didn't know what to do. He thought it was ridiculous, because the delivery charge was probably costing more than the items themselves. So that didn't work out. Thankfully, the girl turned around to John and said, well, there's another option. And she says, Every. Now, when John said that to me about Every, I was like, oh dear, because I've heard this company has a bad reputation. But, like I said, he was only sending protective cases my way, so it was worth taking the gamble. So John says, yeah, I'll do Every. How much is it going to be? And he couldn't believe it. She came back and she said it was £13. Now, not £30, 13. And I couldn't believe it, especially when you feel the weight of the box. It was ridiculous. So John went with it. Yes, it took a little longer to get the parcel to me. And when I say a little longer, you're talking, I don't know, maybe 5 days. But I have to tell you, that is a small price to pay, you know, to get such a low delivery charge. And I can tell you, if I get John to get me more protectors, I am going to be using Every from now on, because that's serious money to be saved. But yeah, I got the package through the door, and I started putting everything together. So I started focusing on my Warner Brothers collection, and I actually get a lot of joy out of doing this. I really do. It's a pain in the ass to put together. It really is, but it's worth doing. It took me 2.5 hours to do it all. But I started with the Warner Brothers collection, and then all of a sudden you were kind of going through, everything was going nicely, and then all of a sudden you come across one edition where it's like, okay, this one now is swimming inside the case. I need to find a case now to fit this one. And then it's just all about trying to keep everything in order, trying to find the right cases. I finally got the Warner Brothers collection done. Right, make my way on to Universal. And it was all a question of, oh, please tell me I bought enough cases. Just for these 2 collections. And then I could worry about everything else later on. So I started working on the Universal collection Got all of those into collector cases, thankfully. Again, a real pain in the ass. 4 different sizes. But I got it done. It looks beautiful. And I kind of stood back and I was like, why the hell do I have so many cases left over? There was loads of them. As a matter of fact, I thought John secretly put in extra cases without telling me. But no, this is me. Apparently I bought all of this. So I started looking towards my collection. All of a sudden I looked into my Vinegar Syndrome releases. And I was like, okay, I was able to make that work. I was able to get every one of my Vinegar Syndrome titles into protective cases. That's great. What else can I do now? So I started looking at the likes of Imprint, 88 Films, managed to get all of them into protective cases. Worked my way down to Arrow Video. I was able to get a lot of the Arrow releases into protective cases. This is how many I had left over. I even went over to my Studio Canal releases where my John Carpenter editions were. Those ones, the likes of Prince of Darkness, you know, They Live. Got all of those into protective cases because that's very important, because those box sets are very flimsy. And I'm actually amazed that there was no shelf wear on them up to this point. When you consider how old they are now, there wasn't a single mark on them. So yes, I was very relieved to get them into cases. But there was a few titles in this collection of mine, the likes of, I got a Zavvi exclusive of Last Action Hero, and if you look at the bottom of the box, you can see that it's just badly wearing away. And when I seen that Last Action Hero title, I knew that I'd have to do a bit more in terms of protecting these releases. Because, you know, they're not cheap. These collector's editions, despite, you know, not talking about the premium editions, the likes of Mantelab and all that, but the likes of Warner Brothers collector's editions, Universal, you know, you're talking about 55 euro for each edition. Naturally, you do want to protect them. But when you start seeing a bit of shelf wear appearing, particularly on an edition that you love, like Last Action Hero. Actually, as a matter of fact, my Exorcist Believer edition, which I think is a stunning edition, that started showing a bit of shelf wear. It's just along the bottom when you're just pulling it out. And so the thought of getting all of that into cases, it's just this kind of weight off my shoulder. And I think the reason why I'm putting this video together is it's just my gratitude towards John and Steve for doing as much as they've done for me when it comes to getting all of these into cases. It looks beautiful. I have to tell you, even now as I'm sitting here, I'm just looking up at my wall and I'm looking at my Film Arena collection and the Warner Brothers collection under, and then the Universal under it again. And it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like they're behind a glass door. They just look beautiful. They really do. And to get that peace of mind, not having to worry about kind of any wear appearing on these releases, I think it's worth doing. Now, in terms of these protectors, they're cheap enough as well. I think I got, let's just say, the bulk of the Warner Brothers ones that I got. I think I got 20 altogether. To get 20 of those, I think it was costing around £11-12. So they're actually quite cheap. And I think the whole lot in total cost me around €70. But you're talking, it must be well over 80 cases. I even got them to get me some one-click Mantelab editions, or cases. And they actually fit my Halloween edition beautifully that I just got recently. So, yeah, it's just great to have that peace of mind. And I just wanted to stop by here and, like I said, just show my gratitude towards John and Steve. Particularly Steve. I have to admit, Steve done a lot of the groundwork. The thought of actually coming in here and measuring up each box, it would have been a nuisance. But Steve done that, you know, he took the bullet. And I can't thank Steve enough for that. But John as well. John really did help me out. And John inspired all of this because of his video. And like I said, I just wanted to show my gratitude to both men. So that's it, folks. That's it. I don't know what way this video is going to go. As a matter of fact, as soon as I knock it off, I'm going to check it out. And if it's pointless gibber, I'm probably not going to put it out. But again, I just thought it was right to stop by and just again thank these two gentlemen. Just show my enthusiasm towards my collection and what I would go to protect it. I think it's money well spent. I know there's a lot of people out there that's going to feel very differently about it, that think we're crazy. And you know what? I'm not even going to try and justify it to them. I'm really not. I think the people that understand it will understand, and that's all that matters to me. So with that said, I am going to let you go. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could leave a comment down below and please share your thoughts on everything that I talked about in this video. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.